We all know it can be very hard when it comes to lighting while shooting outdoors, especially when you need a constant image exposure for interviews or feature film scenes where you need to repeat the take over and over. And when I watch outdoor lighting tutorials on YouTube, there are nice ways of shaping the light with scrims and reflectors, and that is indeed a very nice and cheap way of shooting outdoors. But when the weather keeps changing and the sun hides under some clouds every few minutes, there is no sun you can reflect or diffuse anymore. The solution is quite simple. You need a way to get constancy in your lighting setup to change your image from this to this. In this video we will talk about the lighting solution while having mixed weather outdoors and how to light your subject constantly. And luckily for you, I even had some problems to solve by myself while setting up my lighting setup, which made me to completely change my shooting plan. This is a good example, and maybe you can also learn some problem-solving techniques for you shooting. But first, let me check the time. Time to start. Hey, what's up? Welcome to my channel. My name is Fab and I'm a cinematographer from Germany. If you are new to my channel, welcome. First, I want to thank all of you. It's nice how my channel grew since I started in January 2022. And thank you for all your comments and feedback, and that is really helping me out and motivating me to keep doing things like this. So my key idea for this video today was to show you how to get constant lighting while shooting outdoors on a day with changeable weather like we had today in Germany. So I got all my equipment outside in the garden, tried to find a good composition for an interview example, and I even checked the sun and clouds with a nice wave for free without spending lots of money on viewing filters like these. How to do this I will show you in a second. So my first step outdoors is kind of the same as in my indoor interview lighting video. I try to block all the light sources we have. It's kind of difficult outside, but in this case we try to block the sun. And how I wanted to do this was with this self-made black solid. This is a pretty nice way because we also can use this as a huge negative fill, and I can unroll this up to a size of 3 by 4 meters, and that's important especially outdoors when the light bounces literally from anywhere. But one big problem with this huge flag is that they easily catch wind, and that is extremely dangerous when filming with people. Unfortunately, it is pretty windy where I live. I didn't want to cut this out because even after years of experience, even for me, some things go wrong and I make mistakes. Usually I would use 8 by 8 butterflies with 2 stands like this, but I don't have this at home and my budget for YouTube videos isn't that huge yet. But if you are not that talented in DIY self-crafting, there are also other cheap solutions to use as negative fill. We will come to this later in this video. So I checked the sun and how much time I would have till the clouds roll in again. So I could quickly get some cords and a bigger stand to make this more safe. And to check the sun and the clouds, I simply took a look through my smartphone camera, so I don't have to watch directly into the sun. And believe me, don't do this. But I saw the sun would be gone in a few minutes anyway, so I had to change my plans and I searched for a better place with less wind. And unfortunately, the only spot was in the shadow of my house. So we would not have to deal with the sun anymore, and I thought I would lose the educational aspect I initially intended. But this is a White House, and as we are still outside, it is still bouncing a lot of light. I decided to shoot this video anyway, so this is the new shooting location we will cover today. As we are standing in the shadow of the house, the background is still lit by the sun. So we have massive contrast and massive differences in brightness in my face to the background when I expose to my skin. So let's first expose to the background so we can see how much light we need on my face. After this, I will bring in my Keylight. For this, I use my Aperture 300D with the largest softbox I have. You can also use a big scrim to achieve that. I bring this light as close as possible to the subject, me, so that we have the largest light source possible. Because we know larger light sources make softer and more flattering light. But this image doesn't look good yet. It's flat and we are missing depth. Let's bring in some negative fill to get some contrast in my face. And again, we will use my self-made black solid. This looks already better and we can see how many light was reflected by this white wall of my house. And as I promised you, you can also do this by using this 4-in-1 flag from Valimax. With $55, it's not that expensive as the Manfrotto Avenger ones, and you have the possibility to change the material. And of course, you can use the even cheaper 5-in-1 reflector. But with these, I never find a good solution to mount them when it's windy. When it comes to interviews or scenes with more people and movement, these two cheaper options are not big enough. And if you want to use them, it's always important to bring them as close to the subject as possible. And finally, let's make this shot pop with a nice edge light on the opposite side of the Keylight. Herefore, I use my $100 Godox SL60W with the standard reflector mount, which I often use for these situations. This is a nice budget option with good light accuracy and good output. I love edge and rim light so much, and they bring so much depth to your image. If the sun is out, you can use the sun as a rim light and bounce it for a nice soft and bright Keylight. It's called Sun Sandwich, and it's not that popular because you can clearly see that the Keylight is bounced because it's on the opposite side of the sun. And if it's too windy, the weather is too unsteady, or it's raining, go indoors. And if you want to know how to easily apply all of these steps for inside interviews, take a look at this video. Here I show you how to light indoor interviews on a really tight budget. And in the end, I even compare it to a really expensive lighting setup. And this really was surprising to me. See you on the next shoot. Auf Wiedersehen.